So I am totally a night owl and I do everything at night. So it's midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning. It's almost 1 a.m. in the morning. And I'm about to start the Poppy War because why not? And yeah, I'm going to jump right into it. I don't really know what to expect from this book. I've been warned several times about the trigger warning. So I'm going to read a couple pages. I have a lot of energy. I'm not even tired. I still have a face full of makeup on. So I'm just going to read and eat my chocolates and I'll check back in with you guys.
Take it personal, but I ain't lying. I ain't hiding. I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby.
Okay, so far we have this character named Rin, who is a war orphan, and she doesn't have any parents, and she was taken in by this woman who she calls her aunt that is kind of like a drug dealer, and she wants to sell Rin off to a older guy who's like twice her age and marry her off. And Rin doesn't want to, so she studied really hard to get into this school or this academy so that she could train and become like a warrior. Say that 5 times and see if you don't mess up. And she studied really hard, and there's like this time lapse, which I can't say that I don't like, because you can tell that the author is trying to like jump ahead and get to a certain point in the book. But instead of putting Rin already in the academy and then backtracking to how she got there and making it like a memory, she does like a time lapse where you're going through the motions with Rin, and it's happening in real time, but it's just happening kind of fast. So it's kind of morphing towards the future, which I can't say that I don't like. I don't know if everybody will like that, because it kind of feels like you're not really getting to know her, because she's so focused on this test that it's literally consuming her. Like, it is her life, like to the point where she's causing pain on her body just to keep herself awake and focused, and she's going without sleep because she needs to memorize everything to pass this test, because it's literally her only option. On top of just trying to take this test that's extremely hard, she has to score in the highest to get into a particular part of the academy, because that's the only part that's free, and her guardian has already told her that she's not going to give her any of the money for her dowry that she would have given to the guy who married her for her tuition. So she is super stressed out and super focused on this, and I haven't gotten to know much about her yet. Besides her dedication and besides the pressure that she feels, I can't say much about her character at this point. So that's the thing, and I'm about 30 pages in, so I'm hoping that we get to the school and we are able to develop more and see what happens, and I can get to know her more.
I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be.
Okay guys, so she's made it to the academy. She's getting accustomed to her new world. It's not all going how she wants it to go. I do want to note some things that I've noticed so far is that, one, we are getting to know more about her character, and she's really snarky and smart, but in such a natural kind of way, and you could tell that it's literally just her first nature to be a smartass. And even though she's at the bottom of the barrel and she knows that she doesn't matter and people are going to walk over her, she literally doesn't let them. Like, she's going to say what's on her mind, and she's going to do what she's going to do regardless of what you think about her, because I feel like maybe she's literally so low on the social totem pole that it doesn't matter to her what people think about her, how they feel about her. So she's literally just going to do her, and it's a vibe. I'm here for it. I really do like her, and that's the thing. Also, I want to note that even though she is bullied at school, it's such a natural disdain for her. They're not going out of their way to literally bully her or be vicious towards her. She's just the butt of all the jokes, and she's just at the she's a bottom feeder. She's the bottom of the barrel, and they know that, and she knows that. And I think that they kind of taunt her a little bit for entertainment, but most of the time they're mostly just ignoring her because they don't take her as a serious opponent. They don't expect her to stay there long. They don't expect for her to make it. And I think Rin is going to be able to use that to her advantage later on in the book, the underestimation that people have for her. And I think that that plays into the dynamics of how the book started, because literally everybody underestimated her ability to pass this test, and she proved them wrong. And now she's in this academy, and people still underestimate her ability to keep going and how she got there, and they're not paying attention to, like, they all know how hard it is to get into this school, and they're just chopping it up to her just being that token minority girl, like that token lower class girl, to just make the school seem like, oh, it's supposed to be fair, like somehow she was given this opportunity, but she wasn't. She literally had to earn it. And I think that that's going to play a part later on in the book. I'm hoping. We'll see. I am almost at 100 pages and I'm still very much wide awake, so I'm just gonna keep reading. I'm really bad about checking back in, so maybe I'll update you guys in the morning if I don't update you tonight. But I am eating my favorite chocolates, so I don't even know how to pronounce these things all the way, but I do love them. I'll check back in with you guys.
We just building, it's my season, lay foundation, make a name for generations, please and make a, then take a break or a little vacation and chasing blues away. You always posting a pictures, trying to look like you winning or look like you always be working, soaking the moments.
So it is the next night, not even the next night. The last time I filmed was yesterday. It is now the next day at 2:52 in the morning, so I suck, but I wanted to check in and tell you guys how I'm doing with the book. Yes, this is a new wig. I filmed a video today. Mind your business. Worry about yourself, okay? I have a plethora of wigs, and I pull them out because I'm well within my right. So I'm at 350 pages out of 530. So I think it's safe to say that I'm like 70 to 75% done with the book. And I'm not in love. I'm not impressed. I'm not in awe. I don't really love it. It's not bad, but there has been so many time jumps, which did not bother me in the beginning because I kept thinking that maybe the author was trying to just rush past a certain point to get us to a particular part of the book. But then the time jumps just kept happening. Like, I want to say when I got to 50% of the book, like literally 50% of the book, we had jumped like 3 years. In 200 pages, in 250 pages, we jumped 3 years. And then I'm like, okay, like, is she gonna fast forward this entire book? Because make it make sense. And then here I am now, 70% done with the book, and time is still kind of jumping, which is getting annoying because Rin, the character, the main character, she's going through so many changes, and she's growing up and she's maturing, and she's coming into all these different situations that's really altering her character and changing her character development. But because time keeps jumping, it's hard for me to feel connected to her because I'm just witnessing her go through things, but I'm not witnessing these situations having time to settle, having time for her to really reflect on them and think on them, and then going into different situations and adjusting accordingly. There's just change, jump, change, jump, change, jump. That's literally all I've been reading for 300 pages, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm hoping that at some point I can get to where the book will stop jumping, but I feel like that's gonna be it for this whole book. I've been telling some of my booktube friends like how I feel about reading this book, and the ones who have read it keep telling me that I need to keep going and that it gets better at the end. But like, I felt like Sarah J Maas, her pacing sometimes can be a little off. At least Sarah gets her shit together before you get to the end of the book. Like, the pacing in this is stressful. I'm stressed. I feel like I'm watching a short film, and short films just don't evoke the same emotions as the full movie, and this book is really feeling like a short film right now. So even when we get to the dramatic parts, I can't say that I feel this over amount of like emotion and connection and nervousness and angst, because it's really just time jumping and then something drastic and then her changing and then time jumping. So I am going to attempt to finish the book tomorrow. I still have some homework to do. Love that for me. I should be able to get to the rest of the Poppy War, but it's starting to bore me. But yeah, that's my update. I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed, take my wig off, wash my face. If you see a new wig in the morning, like I said, mind your business.
Living, yeah. You got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, 'cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. I'm in a place serene and pure and free. Hey, I ain't worried about what's the wave, only worried about me. Yeah. Oh,
Okay guys, I'm back. I have finished the book. I have some natural sunlight today, so I'm kind of digging that. So earlier I mentioned that the time jumps were really like affecting me because I felt like I couldn't really understand Rin, and I am a character-based reader. I like enough world building for me to understand what's going on and understand the ambiance and the atmosphere in the book, but I realized that I'd rather have character development and character building over world building, and this book, the first like 3/4 of it was mostly just world building. There were so many time lapse and time jumps that I felt like I could not connect to Rin. I wanted to see more from her. I wanted to see more about how things were really affecting her. So in the book, there was a first war, and now we're heading into another war that kind of never really finished, but it's kicking off again. And I kept thinking that we were jumping time to get to a certain point in Rin's life, and that's not necessarily true. We're jumping forward to get to a certain point in the war, and I think if you know that going into the book, it makes a difference for you, especially if you're a character-based reader like me. Now towards the end of the book, and I do mean the end, like there's 28 chapters or 27 chapters, and chapters 21 to 28 are the best parts of the book, and those happen after page 350 out of 530. So literally the last 200 pages fixed everything that I didn't like about the book. Time stopped jumping. We got to know Rin a little bit more. I mentioned earlier that so much was going on and I never got a chance to see how it affected her, how it changed her, how it was molding her. I did get to see that towards the end of the book, and it did make it all that much more better for me. And then towards the end of the book, you still got your world development and your war development, but in addition to your character development, which is what I wanted to see a whole lot more of from Rin. And there were a lot of twists and turns in the book. There are some very gory details. She does explicitly talk about what's happening in the book in vivid detail, and everyone has warnings for chapter 21. They tell you to totally be prepared for chapter 21. Let me tell you, one, you can't be prepared. Like, no matter how bad you think that the details may be in this book, when you get to chapter 21, you cannot be prepared for what happens. And I do want to say that it's not just chapter 21, 21, and 22 where some emotions came from those chapters, but earlier there were other things happening and then time would jump, or other things were happening and then we never really got to see a centerfold of Rin's thoughts and how it affected her and how it changed her. When you get to chapter 21 and 22, traumatic things do happen, but then you get to see Rin internalize it, and you get to see her process it and deal with it, and then you get to see her externalize it. And I think that that's really vital for me when I'm reading stories. I need to be able to completely connect with my characters. I feel like The Poppy War is an overall good story, especially about a war and what it takes to win a war, and how many people it affects, and how many people suffer because of the war, and the bloodshed and the killing, and just what can happen to women when things like that just go all to hell. But I do feel like it kept me at arm's length away from Rin for the most part of the book. So it was really hard for me to get completely invested, because I'm just watching a story unfold and I'm seeing the characters, but I'd never had an opportunity to fall in love with her, if that makes any sense. Towards the end of the book, that did change, and so I am going to continue with book number 2. I'm gonna grab the Dragon Republic. I've already ordered it, but I need her to do better this time, because literally I had to suffer through 3/4 of the book not really enjoying it. Like 3/4 of the book I would give it 3 out of 5 stars, and literally the last like 1/4 is what pushed it to a 4 out of 5 for me. And honestly, it could have been higher than a 4 out of 5 for me if she had did these things that I wanted her to do earlier. I was told by a fellow booktuber that the author of this book wrote it at a very young age, so I can understand how it's like a diamond in the rough kind of thing. So all in all, like I said, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I've learned that character development is really important for me. So I probably won't be reading any books that's heavy on the world and not so heavy on the characters, because I can't really feel connected to the book. I will be reading Jade War, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.